keep it as an open session. We wanted to answer as much as possible. I can understand how team is going through this kind of a challenges. More than happy to do that. Just to talk about Ram. Ram is a director of AI vertical of Zoho, and plus point of Ram is, I think, one of the very few people I see a person joins in Zoho and stays in Zoho, and he is there for 16 plus years in Zoho. So he knew Zoho in and out of it, and he is leading the AI vertical. So both put together, you would be able to take his expert wisdom to talk about it. How is he just transformed himself joining to Zoho, and how he is heading the AI division? That's one part of it. Beyond that, he also helps a lot of community. I don't know how many of you have just happened to see his LinkedIn profile. You should go and say hi to his LinkedIn profile as well. And he connects to anybody and everybody and helps them. And he is also part of a government initiative to create more workforce, etc. Kudos to you, Ram, and thanks for honestly taking a time in a short span of time and coming. I know 10:30 you have a flight to US, and thank you for being with us, and happy to host you. Over to you, Ram. Just few words from you about you and us. Go ahead.
Absolutely, Manjula. Really appreciate the opportunity. It's always a pleasure to meet a community and then share with them. Not wisdom. I mean, I think these are big words. See, I've been an expert in the field because I've spent so much time on it. I am grateful to my boss, to my company, so that they gave me that time. I mean, I was just a fresher out of college. I still remember 2011, I was seeking an internship. I told my boss, I mean, this was the time when Android and iOS were peaking. And I told him, I want to be an iOS developer. The compromise that I could have is I could be an Android developer. I was a web developer in college. I was a PHP developer in college. I was building a couple of apps. And he said, okay, something seems interesting here. Maybe you should explore this. And that happened to be some sentiment analysis with Apache Mahout. Maybe you finish this project in 3 months and then I will move you to a mobile app development. That's what he said. He still hasn't moved me. So I think I mean, words like wisdom, these are big words. Basically, I've been doing this for 10 years, 15 years. And that's why I know the in and out of this. So I think that applies to all of us. I don't have an AI degree. I was just a fresh engineering grad right out of college. I joined as an intern. And there is a lot of learning that I have done by doing. So maybe in today's conversation, and I saw what Manjula and team is doing, amazing work. In fact, we at Zoho, we work with a lot of people who have resumed their careers after a small break, a medium break, a long break. I personally have managers in my team who lead our AI efforts, who are like very strong technical people and who are very actively contributing to Zoho's AI efforts. I know it is very easy to work with them. It is they're super smart. So I am going to talk to you through all of that. I mean, how I see people restarting their careers, how easy it is to work with them, what opportunities we have in the field of AI, and generally you see it is all it is there is a Western excess mindset and an Eastern pragmatism mindset. Think about it. It is the because all of this technology is coming from the Western world, primarily US, there tends to be a lot of hype around it. And it's always negative, okay? It's always, oh, 18 months later, all white collar jobs are gone. Oh, how did you come at 18 months? How did you arrive at 18 months? No, you're trying to raise money and then you have to do something so that people get excited, people get animated about this whole new development. That is the Western way of thinking. Then there is the Eastern pragmatism that we offer. I mean, think about something like DeepSeek, right? Not much fanfare. Do you know who the CEO of DeepSeek is? Forget DeepSeek. Do you know who the CEO of LG, who's the CEO of Hyundai, who's the CEO of Kia, Samsung? These are products that we use much more than a Steve Jobs product or or any other famous US CEO's product. So we are a part of the Eastern pragmatists. So it's good to approach this with a pinch of salt. Um, don't be carried away with the hype or the fear that is being instilled on us. Yes, I'm not saying it's fake or it's a fad. No, It has definitely changed the way we study. It has definitely changed the way we work. It has definitely changed the way we consume and create content. So you have to adapt to that. But does that mean the end of human white collar employees as we know? I mean, as a country, we are a white collar country. I mean, we are all rich and prosperous as a community, as a country, because we've had companies like TCS and Infosys lay the foundation of a white collar revolution in India. All of a sudden, all of this is going to be automated. Then what happens to us? What happens to the companies that we work for? What happens to us as engineers? Now, I think that sense of fear, please don't be scared. I still see there is more need for us to be optimistic than to be pessimists. So that is a very, very high level note that I wanted to start out our conversation. Don't give in to the hype. But yes, certain things are changing and it is easier to navigate all of that. So with that, Manjula, I think we could go ahead with our conversation. I'm sure you have a lot of questions in mind. The audience have a lot of questions in mind. Let's get started.
Awesome. Thanks, Ram, for setting the context. We don't need to worry, but of course, we need to navigate together. That's the essence I'm just getting. Of course, that's why we are all together today to just see how each of us can find out our own path with the help of industry and the help of professionals and platform like us joining hands together. Thanks for doing that. And the session is going to happen in two ways for all of you because we know the format. The first, I do have a few of opening questions for Ram to set the context, which I'm going to ask on behalf of you. All of you have asked about it, and I'm going to put that across. And there is a Q&A session is also going to come up for all of you. So please prepare your question if it has not been answered, and feel free to open any questions to Ram. He should be able to answer wherever, by chance, if he is not able to answer, we will figure it out. How do we get the answer for you? That also we will be able to do that about it. So with that, another last step before I go to Ram, keep your videos on and make sure you're connecting in this session through to Ram. And at least now Ram will not be able to say no to you. You say, I'm part of the Her Second I attended your session. I wanted to be part of it. Just be over there so that you will get to know his updates. So what is he doing? How he is just doing? That's a small thing where you can also improve your network part of it in your LinkedIn part, right? So with that, thanks Ram. And the first part of it, you set the context about there is nothing to be feared about it, and we being a prosperous white collar country where we have created the legacy in the India, especially with the workforce. So now we need to safely and comfortably navigate it together. That's what I'm understanding. Another question to you, two questions probably to start with. One, it's no longer a traditional SDLC roles. We are going to see that. That's where we are seeing a job landscape is changing. So what kind of job roles we are expected in this AI, if I have to put it very specifically, ML ops model, where we are just building that AI for a client? How are we going to shape our job roles? What are all the job roles we can expect about it? And second, we will just start once we know about it, how to prepare for it.
Absolutely, Manjula. I mean, this is a 2-hour question that you asked me. I'll try to be as crisp as possible, but bear with me. I mean, this is a so let's think about it. So all of a sudden, 2022, you had something that can help you with your homework, that you can go ask any questions, that you don't have to go on a search engine and then browse through 10 links, but then you get everything doing. And then, there is for a large language model, there are two things. There is a mathematically verifiable output, and then there is a non-verifiable output. Let's say I want to write a poem about a summer day in Chennai, right? I think we are about 45 people in this room, and I'm sure none of us are going to write the same poem when we collect it from all of you. But let's say I want to write a program to see if the given input is a palindrome or not. And I'm sure there is only going to be two, max three versions of the program. So there is the non-verifiable stuff, and then there is the mathematically verifiable stuff. And these LLM companies learned really fast that it is much easier to do mathematically verifiable models, mathematically verifiable output like code, like equations. So even with smaller models, you are able to do it with much higher precision, right? So somebody has to build an app to, let's say, her second innings is running an event platform, and you want to do it. And there are like what, 10, 15 event platforms in the whole world. And then you can start vibe coding one by yourself. So this is the bigger change that we are seeing, and that is causing a lot of worry. Now, let me tell you what is happening within Zoho. So within Zoho, the first mandate for all of us employees is to use any AI you want, right? I can just go on, fill a form, get an enterprise AI subscription. It lists all the models out there, no questions asked. Go ahead and use it. Get your hands wet with it, get your hands dirty with it. And we have to go with these enterprise subscriptions because we care about customer data, privacy. There are always questions about, oh, somebody leaked their entire code base into a free LLM and then now that is public. No, we don't want all of that to happen. But the first mandate is to get your hands wet with it. Now, if you are an engineer working on confidential stuff, if you're an engineer working on your company's next patent, there are these Mac Mini boxes, one box for every 4 people, because that is the amount of power it consumes. So you can share a box and run your models locally. Again, all of this is nothing to get your hands wet with it, right? So you try, you see what works. And I'll tell you how I personally use it. And I see a lot of people asking like multiple chats, multiple, oh, I want to know, I'm planning a vacation to, I don't know, to Philippines. Now help me plan it. That is one. And then you use another chat, you use another chat. Oh, I want to know what is the capital of China. Some random question. And then you move on to the next chat. But I think it's a good idea to build a profile for yourselves with an LLM. Get the paid version. It is much better than the free tier that is available. It's 2000 a month. You will, I mean, I'll tell you the way I use. So, for instance, my daughter, 8 years old, extensively uses it, and she uses the voice mode. Of course, I mean, these kids are too lazy to go and type, even though she knows how to type. She starts chatting with it, and she is like a Disney Pixar fanatic. And I don't have the energy, or nor my wife has the energy to talk to her about Inside Out all day. And she goes, has her conversation with an LLM, and then that is one way we use it at our house. And me personally, because I am into building AI, I run a lot of long conversation with AI, right? And that really helps. So, for instance, I'm trying to log whatever I eat, and I repeat, I'm trying to go on a calorie deficit. I'm not saying I went on a calorie deficit. I'm trying to go on a calorie deficit, and these are long-running experiments. Okay. Otherwise, what would you would do? You would use some app like Healthify Me, or some app where you log your food, but that is possibly not very close to your food habits, or the units of measurement and all. It's very, the UI driven thing is very difficult to use, or might not essentially capture how you eat. So I think I have about 6 months of what I eat. I keep logging, and then I measure the carbs, proteins, fats. Everything is protein, right? So track all of that, and I do this every 3 months. I switch an LLM and see how well does it work for long context, where its strengths are, where its weaknesses are. That gives me a hang of things. I mean, it is not work, but tracking my calories, tracking my exercise routine. So every morning I hit the gym, or I hope to hit the gym. And then when I hit the gym, it gives me I go to the gym and ask, so, oh, what do I do today? Oh, okay. So you ate all of this, you went overboard. So maybe this is the routine that you should do. And then I say, oh, no, I feel pain in my thighs, I feel pain in my legs. Now, okay, then maybe avoid all of these stepper machine and your leg workouts, go do this upper body thing. So I mean, these things help me understand the personality of an LLM. So today, I use Grok for anything political, anything non-work, anything funny, anything. I use Grok for all of that because Grok has all of these Twitter inputs that keep coming into it. I use Gemini for anything location-based. Hey, I am here. I am feeling like eating a South Indian breakfast. Where do I go? And Gemini has that inbuilt thing into maps. I use ChatGPT for a lot of writing work. When I have to write something, I prompt it well and do that. I use Claude for all my programming, for all my mathematically verifiable stuff. So this is my This is personally my way of, and I am able to do this, and I keep changing. I mean, there was a time when Gemini used to write very well, but ChatGPT was so bad at writing with all the M dashes, and today you could all look at a text and understand if it is AI generated, right? And the important thing is, I still use a lot of AI to generate my content, but I don't let the AI decide what content am I going to type. I given the full prompt, I help it refactor. I take the help of it to refactor, and then the end output. So there is an AI scale, and then there is a Ram Prakash scale. My team knows if I have written it, it has my style to it. Try and lean towards your style as much as possible, and not, I mean, there is a difference between a lazily prompted LLM output and a well structured LLM output when you keep prompting it, right? Especially when you're writing, when you're doing your LinkedIn posts, when you're doing your creative content out there. It's easy to create content, right? But you have to, anything lazily prompted, anything poorly prompted is an AI slop. And we're talking about LinkedIn. Just take a look at LinkedIn. I mean, 9 out of the 10 posts are AI slop. Absolutely no thoughts put into it, right? AI can help you write your thoughts very well. But again, if you're a lazy prompter, then it's going to be very obvious. Okay. So this is what I am doing as an individual. I mean, if I'm going to summarize, I mean, run a lot of long experiments, things like calorie. I mean, all of us eat, all of us work out in some form or the other. Keep tracking it, understand where an AI can help, ask some geopolitical questions. So, for instance, the way I figured out Grok could answer a lot of these non-work related or political or fancy social questions is I watched Durandar and the movie Durandar, and then I had a lot of questions. And I found that every other LLM was trying to mince words and be very nice to you and all of that. The only LLM with a personality was Grok, right? But I am not able to use that at work. But for all of such questions, I use Grok because it has a lot of real-time information. Gemini because it is a lot of spatial information, a lot of maps, a lot of reviews for every restaurant coming in. I want a restaurant that is open at 7 a.m., that is walkable from where I am, that serves me, I don't know, vegan stuff. Now, this is the prompt, and Gemini is able to do it much better than any other LLM. ChatGPT is able to have long conversations with me. So I have 3 months of my food habits logged, and then say, hey, give me some insights. And it says, you're very good, but every Thursday you tend to overeat. And for every 2 days you are very good with your diet, you're bad the third day. I mean, these are signals. You can basically chat with your habits, and for which you have to have that habits into your system, right? So now all of these are may use cases. I'm sure all of you are doing that, but I'll tell you, let's get to the serious stuff. The primary use case that I use these models is using their learn mode or study mode. Unfortunately, ChatGPT removed it the first week of April. Okay, but it is still available in Claude and Gemini, even in the free tier. There is a learn mode, there is a study mode. It is the best way to learn new things, right? Especially in AI, things keep changing. See, I come with an ML background. I don't come with a neural network background. My first 6, 7, 8 years of my career was a lot about machine learning. It was a lot about linear regression. It was a lot about gradient descent. It was a lot about random forest, support vector machines. And then came neural networks, then came CNNs, then came LSTMs, then came transformers as we know. I am not well versed with these newer topics because I still build systems for security, systems for monitoring, where there is a lot of context, and these are not LLM problems. These are very, very focused, specific problems that we do. So I keep doing that. And to learn all of these transformer stuff, the way I use is LLMs for using the study mode, right? All of a sudden, there is a newbie in my team coming and talking to me about the backfill speed is very low. I'm too shy to ask them what backfill is. Okay, hold on a minute. I go, okay, help me understand backfill. Oh, backfill is something where a model is generating text or generating an output as we see, and then it thinks it starts generating stuff. Now that is called backfill. This backfill has to be so fast so that your time taken to output your first token is reduced, right? These are the kind of learnings which you can, and the learn mode, study mode is also very good for kids. It helps them understand very well. It's also useful for us as professionals. You can deep dive into anything. It makes mistakes, but you can still do that. Now, this
So,
is from
Ram,
a
I'm going to interrupt. I'm just
sure.
going to interrupt, right? Just to make sure people are getting a sense of what you're talking about. I'm again going to retract to that conversation of the question what we were just pushing across. The input what I received, what you have just given is the LLM defining the way of learning and doing a work is changing the workplace as well. That's what I'm able to understand what you are just doing. But going back to the question, right? So now there's no longer an instruction based outcome the way you were talking about. I am not going to write a programming to talk about the trigonometric algebra or even a sorting, etc. It's more about a live experience of a workflow, business, etc. We are going to do about it. If that is what we are going to do it through the IT for the AI, what kind of a roles we are evolving into? If you can share some lights on it, whether it is a tech or a non-tech, then as an audience, we will be able to take a cue out of it. Where are we heading towards?
Absolutely, absolutely, Manjula. I mean, uh, okay, let's take Zoho's perspective, right?
Mhm.
Now, Zoho is a company that sells enterprise software. I'm not talking of as an employee of Zoho, but you look at Zoho, then Zoho has some 60 plus enterprise applications, anything that you want to run your business on. There is finance, there is customer support, there is marketing, there is CRM, all of that.
Yeah.
Now, now there is a hypothetically there is a direct threat where if everyone is going to make their own software, right? So this is the messaging that the fear mongers want to do, right? All software is going to be auto generated, hyper personalized. You don't need any of your software vendors. You will all go create your own software, right? That is the narrative that has been coming out. But let me tell you, let's look at three categories of companies. Let's say of Zoho's customers. Now, typically there are small businesses, there are medium or the new enterprises as they call it. Then there are enterprises. Now, let's take a coffee shop. You run a coffee shop and you use, let's say, Zoho CRM, Zoho's POS system to collect payments and issue receipts. And then you have three, four people. So you use a basic version of the finance suite to manage your books, to do your payroll and all of that. Now, this coffee shop does not have the bandwidth to vibe code, right? I mean, let's say the owner is a very hands-on tech person, but they would want something that is reliable. So they will still use a Zoho tool because they don't want the security bug. I mean, you don't want somebody using your Wi-Fi to hack into your payroll and I mean to hack into your ordering system and then order free coffees. So for a small business, they might vibe code uh, extra use cases. Like, for instance, they want to create a WhatsApp chat with all their customers, and that info is in their CRM. The CRM does not allow exporting to WhatsApp. So I will vibe code a thing where I will create a WhatsApp group with all my customers. It's a local coffee shop. I mean, it's in a particular locality. It serves repeat people, people going on their morning walks, people commuting to their work, and all of that. So small businesses, very little to no vibe coding. They want something that runs. They want something that works in peak hours. They want something, and when they buy a product from a vendor like Zoho or any other vendor to speak of it, they also get the wisdom of product management, right? Zoho sells software for, I don't know, 300, 400 rupees. And that comes with the wisdom of building things for thousands of similar enterprises, similar coffee shops, right? Which you might not discover when you're running your own coffee shop. So this is with small businesses. With medium businesses, let's take a manufacturing floor. I'm sure they are going to wipe code a lot of things because they have a small IT team, but none of this will involve people, processes, and complaints. For instance, they would want to track some inventory within their organization, and they might wipe code. They would want to build a farm in which, let's say, there is a festival coming up, there's a Diwali coming up, and you want to distribute Diwali gifts. You can actually vibe code a farm where people fill their preferences, or you give some 10 choices, people can go vote which choice they want. These things are going to be vibe coded. Now let's look at a larger bank, right? Again, the compliance part of it is going to be untouched. They're going to go with vendors because they have to report to the government, they have to report to the central authority and all of that. So nothing that involves the payroll, nothing that involves critical security infrastructure is going to be vibe coded. So if you think about it, software has always been free. There has been open source software for years. Then how are so much of software companies making money and employing engineers like us? It's because software itself is free, but code is free, software is not. Code is free. I mean, you can generate code today. Now you have the capability to wipe code. How many wipe coded apps that are you using? Right? Or you should have seen a lot of wipe coded apps flooding the market, but we have not seen that. So code is free, but software is still expensive. Companies are one thing that I see is the feature parity across tools. Right? Usually we get a lot of new customers because they were using some other vendor's tool, and then that feature is not available, and they want to shift to the Zoho ecosystem. Or I mean, this is how churn happens, right? Oh, I keep asking for a feature. My software vendor does not provide it. So I move to a competitor by paying more price, or there is something to do and then you go change. But today customers are doing a wait and watch because feature development has become simpler. I'll tell you, it is so easy to build a feature right now with these AI assisted tools, but you still need to know what you're doing. Your foundations matter more than ever, right? You should know what you're doing. You should be, I mean, I'll tell you. So I went to watch I was in the US last time. We had our customers meet up in a baseball match. And I know nothing about baseball. And so I said, okay, now let us figure out, okay, you have the world's best AI at your disposal. Hey, I know cricket. Can you help me understand baseball? And I thought I understood baseball till I entered the ground. A lot of these were abbreviations, and I was not able to understand a thing. The scoreboard was a lot of numbers. I couldn't really. And see, so the domain knowledge becomes more and more important. Over the last 10 years, we've seen that if you're, especially if you're an engineer, we've seen that 10 years ago, you will say you need math to do computing, right? 10 years, the last 10 years, we have found out that the difference between math and computing has widened because these programming languages evolved so well that the math underneath has been abstracted. Right now, if you are not an engineer, if you are in one of the allied fields, you are in customer support, you are in marketing, you are in content creation, and all of that, knowing your domain becomes all the more important. Knowing your customers, knowing what they do, the domain knowledge becomes more prized than how to deploy or how to put that domain knowledge to production. So in one word, the industry is changing. It is easier to build new stuff. Like I said in the first part, keep experimenting, get your hands wet with, I personally, I've been trying to reduce my doom scrolling time and then go spend a more time with a lot of these LLMs. So I'm trying to do that by force, but we all still doom scroll. It's fine, but just that be mindful of the ratio of time you spend between your LLM apps and this. Domain knowledge becomes super important. Even if the system is able to generate code, you should still be able to understand how to do it, or what is the best code, most optimal code that you can write. So go one level down. That is more important.
Awesome. So you just spoke about it, domain knowledge is more pricier than the regular developer role, right? So that gives me the question to ask, if I am coming from a banking or any of the domain, but without IT, right, as a background, how do I find myself to navigating in the career world to find my fit in the industry?
Right. So, see, the IT industry is wide open. Today, we need more and more domain expert. You are a software company that is selling to banks, right? On the one side, you need engineers and marketers and content creators to build your portfolio and all of that. On the other side, you need a lot of uh, forward deployment engineers, as they call it, right? You need to speak the customer's lingo. You need to know how, let's take how a credit decision is authorized. You might have all the tools in the world, but you should know how the internals of a bank functions. And if that is your domain expertise, there is still a lot of opportunity. And these are areas where AI still hasn't made a lot of impact. Think about it. There is, let's say, for a urban salaried class person getting a loan, there are so many models, there are so many benchmarks, there are so many automated decision makers. But let's say a semi-urban or a rural self-employed person or a rural agriculture person, how do you assess that credit decision? Let's say you work in the insurance domain. How do you assess that this crop, how much do I get a premium so that I can insure this crop? Now, all of this is domain knowledge. Domain knowledge has become more valuable in generic AI slop filled world. And how do you build that domain knowledge? Again, use a study mode, use a learn mode. Keep chatting with an AI. There are so many ways to do it, so many ways to prompt it. Help understand the internals. And today, I mean, it's a boon, right? If you think about it, or when I joined Zoho 2011, the only way to learn AI was using my data mining textbooks. We had to buy these textbooks, very expensive textbooks, and then there used to be a revision, like version this the revised edition. So the revised edition again, we used to go spend money. I mean, you start of your career, it was like 7,000, 8,000. My stipend was like, I don't know, 15,000. So hey, oh yeah, you have to go get this new book because it has all of these chapters. So very quickly we came from that. This was 2011. Then 2015, you had Coursera, you had Andrew Ng taking classes. In 2017, you had 100 others. I mean, it's like you go to college, there is a foreign author, then there is an Indian author who can help you in the way you understand today. Everything is on video. I mean, I still remember my mentor, my first boss in Zoho used to tell me, go read the API docs. Like you're solving a problem, just don't go to Google and do a Stack Overflow. I mean, Stack Overflow was all the rage back then because let's say you have a problem, you're getting a particular kind of exception. Just Google that exception, Stack Overflow, somebody would have given you the answer. The other way to solve it is you can go read through the Java docs. I was a Java developer when I started off with. Go read through the API docs. When you're finding the API that you're trying to troubleshoot, you will look at 5 other APIs. And that is wisdom. That is knowledge that goes into your head. Tomorrow you're trying to solve some other problem, you will go do that. And
Awesome.
then I slowly moved up my career. I became a mentor to interns coming in. These kids were looking at YouTube videos with background for debugging, with background music for debugging. So, going lower is still reading the API docs is still important. I mean, we are doing much lesser reading than we used to do in the past, right? How much of new, I mean, people say, oh, I heard this. No, you didn't hear it. You were doom scrolling on Instagram. You saw a video about it. You didn't read it, right? So keep reading as a habit. That helps you. I mean, a lot of these podcasts. I mean, we're talking about this on the podcast as we speak. But when you read stuff, when you read the transcript of this, you can pass in areas where you want to reflect, right? But a podcast goes on its own pace. There are places where you would want to skip. There are places where you zone out. So I would say keep your primary content consumption medium as reading. That is a good way to look at it.
Perfect. Thanks, Ram. I think people are also wanted to ask some of the questions to you to figure it out what and how. I gently request everybody to just share your question and we will just see how we can just take this forward. And I'm just seeing one of the question from Shruti. And again, it's a question to you, Ram, saying that is there a opening in Zoho for automation tester having 4 years of experience with a long career gap? And happy to chime in. Please go ahead, Ram.
Yeah, I think a good way to look at this is maybe get in touch with her second innings, look at career page of every company that you would want to. Openings still keep coming up. Openings still keep coming up. Don't worry. I mean, let me tell you, when with my experience of working with women with career gap, they're very good at multitasking, right? I think that's what the career gap teaches you, right? Oh, you do this, you are a caretaker, or you bringing up a kid. They very easily multitask, and they come back with a lot of vigor. So I am happy that we as an industry, as technology industry, we the career gap is not looked as a bad thing as we speak, right? Compared to what it was 10 years ago, right? People would frown upon when you have a career gap. But today, it is not that much of a taboo or, oh, you have a career gap. Why? No. People understand, and that's a good thing in the way this field of technology has evolved. I mean, a lot of things, right? Think about degrees. People used to say, oh, I've seen job descriptions that say from a tier one or tier two, who defines tier one, tier two, and all that. Now, degrees don't have as much as a value that they had, especially in the technology industry, as much as a value they had 10 years back. So these openings keep coming up. It's good to work with a community like her second innings. I mean, this is a good place, right? I mean, you aggregate, maybe, I mean, you look at a company that you didn't know that existed, right? You know 10 companies that you're looking for, you keep looking at their career space, but then you come join with a community like this. And then, there is a company that is better than all of these 10 companies, and then they're hiring for the exact opening that you're looking for. So tap into the power of community, tap into the power of networking. That really helps. Keep watching the careers page of any company that you would want to apply to. That's the best and straightforward way to apply. Today, the entry barrier is the same. I'll tell you, it's like you are, I mean, our chief scientist had posted a tweet yesterday, and that said, do a -5 year thing. I'm a senior manager. I have 16 years of experience. Now, do I just do delegation? Do I just say, hey, you do this, you do this? This was scheduled for 10 days. Why is it 11 days and you still? No, then I become irrelevant. I still have to be hands on. I still have to think like what an intern would think. And this AI is a great equalizer in that. There is no domain expert in AI as we speak, right? Forget AI builders, but there is no domain expert. Everybody is starting afresh. Oh, how do I build this app using AI? How do I create a very impactful marketing content using AI? Everybody is a beginner. So don't think of your 4+ years career gap. No, that's not how you would want to think. You want an automation job? Find out an automation job. Don't think of a career gap. Is a little piece of advice that I would want to share.
Awesome. Thanks, Ram. And again, there are people would be asking a question. I'm just going to pick it up your brain, and I'll summarize how do we go about on navigating the AI career. I'll just do that, but I would like to just take up the other question as well. Anybody wants to speak to Ram, please just raise your hand, and I'll just allow you guys just to just talk about it. But second question is, somebody wanted, Mohan Priya is just asking, as a career restarter aiming to specialize in Zoho, I would appreciate a guidance on the key Zoho products to focus on building strong expertise regardless of domain knowledge. You have any inputs on that?
Yeah, I think the CRM platform is a good place to start, because I mean, you look at a company, they have profit centers and they have cost centers. And CRM is a place where companies can make more money, right? Better CRM you have, better you are able to sell. That means more revenue, that means more profits and all of that. So the CRM platform is a good place to start. Maybe verticalize it to one domain. I mean, how do I do a real estate CRM? A real estate CRM is very different from an automobile CRM, which is very different from a healthcare CRM, right? So that is one place to start. The other place is, if you have some domain knowledge in finance, the finance platform is also a great place to look into, because companies would want people with expertise in tools like Zoho Books so that they can help them run their business. And if you are even more of a on the technology spectrum, if you are even further deep into technology, every company wants to run their IT. So this is where Manage Engine, a division of Zoho Corp, helps people manage their IT. So you are a college, and you have about 1,000 computers in your lab. How do I make sure that they are not vulnerable? How do I make sure they are all patched up? There are Manage Engine tools that help you do that. And you need, Manage Engine has some certifications, Zoho has some certifications. So I would say the top three would be: look at CRM. There is a lot of demand on that. Look at the finance suite of products, a lot more demand on that. If you are even more technical, even more hands-on with technology, with things like networking, security, and all of that, then Manage Engine is a great place to look at. That's what I would say.
Great. So thanks for that. And there are other questions is also just coming up to just talk about it. Since you just spoke about the CRM, I also wanted to just tell them, like Zoho, any of the ERP CRM products are available for free to just download, and whether it's a Salesforce or anything, download and start exploring. They do have the certificates, free certificates comes over there. Feel free to just try it out. So that would be one of that. But hold on to your thoughts, and we will sum it up with how do you navigate your AI career. I'm going to come back to the same question till we just get the answer, but let me just move forward. How we identify AI related skills which is actually worth learning for domain in HR recruitment. This is a question from Ruhi.
Right. So one thing we've consciously avoided as a company is to use AI for resume shortlisting and all of that. That is not a good way. I mean, it's called human resources for a reason. You don't want AI looking at a name or a address or a pin code and saying this person might not be relevant to this job. So the human skill becomes a lot more human capital in assessing if a human would be a good fit for the team becomes all the more important. AI, the least adoption of AI that we see is in the human resources space. So one good way is how do you screen candidates using AI? It could be psychometric, it could be technical, it could be. I mean, see, you go recruit someone, and let's say you're recruiting a software engineer, and you cannot tell them don't use AI in your process. So even with AI assisting them, what is the best problem that you can give for them to solve that brings out their true capability is a good way to do it. I'm sure there is going to be a lot of companies coming in for people with AI expertise in any domain, AI expertise in sales, AI expertise in HR, AI expertise in customer support. It's good that you're tying it to a domain. So I don't have a straightforward answer on where to start, but find out areas where there is no bias that comes in from AI. Find out areas where there is a very straight. Don't apply AI for the sake of AI. Does it really bring an impact to the recruitment pipeline that you see? Today, the time taken to open and close a job designation is 30 days. Now, can you use AI to bring that down to 20 days or 15 days? Look at such problems. I think that will be a good place to start.
Right. So, a brilliant point, right? Where trying to find the use case and see whether it brings the cost advantage or the productivity advantage of any of the use case workflow that gives you the sweet spot for us to figure it out how we can build our own AI model to just create a outcome of it. So anybody wanted to try on coming back to the career break, getting into the AI part of it, this is your first crux of the story. What is your business use case? You can pick it up, right? Whichever the domain doesn't matter, based on your comfort, pick it up for that domain. And if you are able to find out this use case, this is the impact or outcome we are going to create, and for this we develop this solution, gives you an edge for you to talk about whichever the organization. Your interview becomes a cakewalk over there because you have your own version of the story to talk about what you have just done beyond your certification part of it. But moving to that part of it as well, people wanted to know, is there any AI certifications can be done for themselves? You have any suggestion, Ram?
No, actually, see, these keep changing. There is no AI certification that essentially captures that you are an expert in AI. I mean, a lot of people are making a ton of money saying, I'll give you a certification. And you look at job openings. The best way to vet this is don't take my word for it. The best way to vet this is look at job descriptions. Do they say, do you need an AI certification? There are very rare. If a job that says you need an AI certification, then I think you should stay away from it. You should steer clear of it. Today, a lot of these AI certifications, see, there is a difference between a CRM expert certification or a finance expert certification versus an AI expert certification, right? What was 1 year ago is not the same. And how do you create a certificate and then you put a price tag, and the price tag is often very expensive. That's my gross as well. So I mean, you don't need to pay 1 lakh so that you can get an AI certificate. You, thankfully, we are in a place where our skills outdo the certifications. Your skills outdo the degrees. Your skills outdo the career breaks that you've had. That's what I said before. I mean, thankfully, the world of technology is doing that. If you find a job asking, see, let me tell you how we hire in Zoho. How do we hire our? This is for my team, AI engineers, right? We don't look at their AI skills. I'll tell you, hiring someone who knows programming and then giving them a couple of weeks to get up to speed with AI always works versus hiring someone who has got an AI certification. Let's say I've completed Andrew NG's course with so much thing. I have completed all of these AI courses that are available on the internet, but I don't know programming. Bring them in. It's very difficult to teach them programming. we failed. I mean, I'm sure all the 150 people in my team, all of them are engineers who learned AI on the job versus AI experts who learned programming on the job, right? So the domain, like Manjula also reiterated, the domain becomes super important, right? AI is one part of the 10 things in your domain. Don't focus too much on AI. I mean, that's what the Western excess has sold us, right? Oh, AI is everything. You know, AI, you can do that. No, a company doesn't care if you're solving a problem using AI or using your domain knowledge. A customer doesn't care the tools that we build. Oh, did you build it with AI or did you build it with your wisdom? They don't care. They want their problem to be solved.
Awesome. Good. So thanks for just sharing that. So now another question, probably I'm just going to navigate to a non-IT. If I'm from non-IT, taken a break, wanted to come back, how do I navigate? Is there any way forward to just come back with the AI part of it? Any suggestion or a tips?
Yeah. So, like I said, the entry barrier has become easier, especially in domains like now, let's say you have a degree in microbiology, right? Now, where do I get started? You could build a lot of these skills using AI assisted development for yourselves. So even today, I mean, let me give you a very tangential thought. All our productivity has improved. All our personal productivity, there is definitely an improvement in the personal productivity. I hope you all will agree, right? Let's say you want to think about something, you have questions about something, you have doubts about something, you want to find something from the internet. Our personal productivity has gone way up. But has your team's productivity gone up the same way? Right? A team is just a collection of individuals. An individual productivity is up, but the team productivity isn't up, right? So the way to look at this is use AI to build your skills. And if your domain requires a certification, then go do it. Now, the certification becomes all the more easier to crack with an AI's learn mode, with an AI study mode. So use that technology to your personal benefit. Again, look at the domain than looking at what AI into that.
Right. Okay, fine. Thanks for just sharing about it. And anyone wanted to talk to Ram and ask you a question, just raise your hand. We will unmute and then just ask you to just talk about it. Anyone? Maybe I'll just take a pause just to before me just getting into the question, another part of it. Anyone? Everybody's comfortable in putting a question over in a chat. I'm just trying to see who's that person who's going to say, yeah, I wanted to talk to Ram. Oh, yes. Shika, please go ahead, Shika. Thank you so much. Go ahead.
Hi Ram, thank you. This session was really informative. I just
Right.
had a query that, I have a programming background and I'm on a career break and I have done a certification in AI and data science recently. So now I want to know that how does one, apply for jobs with no experience in AI, but just a certification? How can my programming background have an edge with
Hmm.
along with the certification that I've done?
Absolutely, Shika. So I think a lot of these software building jobs or programming jobs are coming down. Companies are waiting and watch because I mean, even with Zoho, all our software engineering jobs are relatively much lower than what it was 2 years ago, the number of openings that we put outside. But you know where we are increasing our threshold? One is security, right? With a lot of vibe coding, security becomes a headache. And with models like, I don't know how many of you heard about Claude's Mythos. Now, that Mythos is a model that helps you identify security vulnerabilities within any software infrastructure. Now, if it goes to the hands of the attackers, of course, every software that we use has some vulnerability or the other. Some are discovered, but if they are discovered, they are usually fixed. That depends on how responsible your provider is. But generally, when it is discovered, it is fixed. But let's say, I'm sure there are a lot of unknown vulnerabilities in any software tool that you use. Now, if somebody exploits it, then it is going to become a headache. So one area is security. Whatever you could do with security, that is, I'm sure the scope of that is going to go up. Two is operations, like DevOps, as they call it. You can still be a programmer and help companies deploy their systems, help companies monitor their infrastructure. Again, software creation is going to be easy. But deploying them at scale, running them securely are areas, because more and more, they call this Jevons paradox, right? Oh, coal's price has gone down. Coal has become infinitely cheaper, but then people started using coal more and more. They ran a lot of train lines and all of that. So software has become cheaper, or software creation has become easier. Now, what will happen if it becomes easier? More software will be deployed, more security vulnerabilities will come, more people will be vulnerable to security attacks. So can I maintain my uptime? My company is creating a lot of these apps at an infinite speed. Now, how do I deploy them and make sure the service is available? Today, you don't want to go back to a website or an app that keeps crashing. Oh, this e-commerce app has the best products, but I pay and then money gets debited and then nothing happens, or the app keeps crashing. You don't want to work with. I mean, think about airlines. I work with. I mean, I like airlines that. I mean, there are two classes. Okay, one is like the Middle Eastern ones are like very good with the comfort, great 5-star service and all of that. But let's say I miss a connection. Now, how better is the app? Now that comes to the IT team. So if you are into software development, if you are a developer with programming experience today, security and DevOps, IT operations would be areas where there's going to be a lot of opportunities in the 6 months. I'm not saying all of software development jobs will go away, but if a company was hiring 100 developers last year, they're only going to be hiring 20 this year. So please be mindful of that. Security and operations are going to be a lot more rewarding in the near future.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Shikha.
Yeah. Anyone else would like to just chime in and ask your question?
Hi, Ram.
Hey, hi, Ruhi.
Hello,
Please
hi.
go ahead.
Okay, so the session has been very informative. Now, it's giving us new perspective in this AI age, like, how to take career break in a positive note and how to proceed further. But what I would like to understand is, irrespective of our domain, any AI skills, any AI top skills that will help us stay relevant in coming 3 to 5 years, so that we can start focusing and learning those skills. Because I come from HR background. I've recently, started training with HSI into recruitment. So I want to understand, are there any specific skills which will help me stay relevant in my domain, to perform better, to stay updated, so that I am not intimidated that I'm left behind?
Absolutely, absolutely, Nishat. So I think it's a great question, and okay, like I said, be very hands-on. One way of being hands-on is using it for your calorie tracking, using it for your workout tracking, using it for stories for the kids in your house and all of that. The other way is also to be hands-on, where you have a lot of these. You can, I mean, making AI do stuff. One aspect is, prompt, get a content, prompt, create a video and all of that. But can you prompt and create a app? Can you use a lot of these agentic tools? There are a ton of agent studios out there. Go try building a small process. I mean, the good thing for especially people with non-software development background is you could implement your ideas that you have for a workflow or for a process. Even with zero programming skills, you can build your prototype, right? And today, when I see a resume, forget career gap. See, I'm not going to reject someone. Let's say I have 3 people for an interview, and you're the best one in that, and I'm not going to reject you just for the sake that you have had a 4 or 5 year career break, right? It's all about how well you do. I mean, I'll tell you, when I recruit, I look at 3 things. One is, how much of stuff have you done in the past? Let's say you could be fresh out of college. How much of stuff have you done in your college? Uh, I mean, people generally would say, "Oh, I am ready to come into the job, but I have not done anything in the past." No, I would not be happy to work with that person. Two is, okay, you've done something in the past. How much are you ready to pivot? Because there is a very good chance that your background might not be the domain that you get in. Right? For instance, me, I was a web app, PHP web app developer in college. I became I wanted to do web app, mobile app development, but then I became a Java developer when I came into the company to do AI. Today, the world is looking at Python and AI, right? So but I'm sure my web development skills help me. But if you purely look at it from a resume perspective, oh, this is a PHP person, what is he going to do with AI? And all the stack that Zoho uses is on Java. You don't have, I don't know any of Java. It's just the engineering paper, one paper Java programming that I did during my engineering course. So the second thing is, you've done something in the past. Are you ready to be flexible and do something in the future? And the third thing is very, very subjective. It's about, is there a personal equation? I have a team. This is how my team works. Will the team be able to have this person over for a Sunday lunch? So these are the three things that we look forward when I'm sure every manager is doing this. One, are you over promising? No, you've done something. And then are you able to be very flexible so that you could fix yourselves into my domain? And three, are you generally likable, approachable as a person so that you fit into the team? Because you don't want one person into the team who changes the whole team dynamics. And you have to play along with the team. These are the three things that we generally look forward when hiring. Now that you are into HR, now you have expertise in what HR processes are the most painstaking. Now, when I see a resume, every resume is today the same. Everything is some AI generated stuff. Especially you go to colleges, some 300 people apply and all 300 resumes follow the same template. Now, you could have done a very, very serious project. I could have just purchased a project by paying some money to some center. True, right? This happens. Now, how do you differentiate? One way to differentiate is to put a URL in your resume. Put a QR code in your resume. Now, if I have the link to see what you've done, that brings in more credibility than you explaining that in 2 paragraphs in your resume. Right? It might be half-baked, it might not work, but redirecting me to showing me the work that you've done on a URL, the blog that you've written, the process that you created using an agent board and then you've published in a agent workplace, that gives you like so much of mileage when I'm filtering resumes in the first step of doing things. So get 5 URLs in your resume. It's going to make a daylight difference, not just for you, but for all of you in the room. Make sure you get 5 URLs in your resume where the hiring manager or the HR can go look up the work that you have done. Today, it's all the more easier, even if you are a HR expert, you are a sales expert, you don't have the technological capabilities to go build an app or showcase all of that. The AI has made it so easy for you to publish something that lives in the internet and everyone can go look at it. So that is what I would say. Now look at the HR pipeline. Now you see that the background verification process is getting more expensive. Now find out a solution, use some agents, connect all of that. See if you can do 80% of what that big tool does at 20% cost. And say, hey, I prototyped an agent that reduces your background verification cost by 80%. Here is the link to the prototype. You can go check it. Now that defeats all the other resumes in the pool and puts your resume at number 1. I think that's a practical advice for anybody looking at openings.
Brilliant, Ram. Thanks. But I'm going to go back to Ruhi to just get that because she looks a little lost. I am just trying to bring her into the context of it. Ruhi, I want a follow-up question. What's your understanding? So that because this is one of the beauty. If one person we are able to make them comfortable, rest of them would be comfortable. Ruhi, how do I make you comfortable? What is your follow-up question? Whatever Ram has said, I just wanted to just pick that thread. Go ahead.
Yeah, the word lost you used is really suitable because this is what I was when I decided to restart my career. I was so lost to understand like what am I supposed to do to upskill myself, like this AI thing is everywhere. And so I just enrolled myself into courses like analytics, HR analytics, and to learn workday processes and things like that. So I learned it, and then I was lost again to know like how do I use this, how do I put this on my resume and things like that. But like Ram suggested, now I understand that we need to showcase our work. It's not just about learning. We'll have to practically implement that, do some work on it and then present it on a resume like a URL which you suggested. That will make our resume stand out, and probably the hiring managers would want to interact with us, and that develops a kind of curiosity as to what value this person can add to our organization. So this is what I understood from you.
Yeah, very, very neatly summarized. You couldn't have said it better.
Yeah, you've just done that just to add to the layer of both of you said just for others, right? The essence is start using your ChatGPT or any of your tools for your own way, but then bring it your own. For example, I'm just going to take Ruhi as an example here. She is from the HR domain. She knows about which process was taking a time, where it was just hurdling too much about it. Can I build a process improvement from this, what I learned using the agents where we are talking about, and can I show this as a optimized outcome, what you created it? So more than learning the AI certificate, if you can carve out these kind of a projects with the help of by yourself or organization like that or any other training company where you do a 3-4 projects. All he is asking us, showcase your projects in HR where you can use AI and create your outcome which improves the productivity or a cost advantage or a speed of it. This is where your outcome is going to differentiate than others. So that's the part of it. How do I do that? That's the next question. So probably we will be able to get into that and answer more about it. More than happy about to do that. That's the one essence. If you are from non-tech, this is the best way to showcase your outcome in a multiple ways. I am from bank. You know what? The bank, the credit score has been calculated for ABC way, which takes 10 days of time to just do that. I just did it in 1 hour. And this is what you have. So then people would be able to appreciate your domain knowledge and the way you are trying to implement this, your AI in your domain, and gives you the credibility to showcase, oh, even if you are new to this, we can rely on it to start something on it. Thanks, Ruhi. Brilliant question. Thanks, Ram, for articulating it. Any other question? I think, Revati, you had one question from online where.
Manjula, I have one question.
Go ahead, Shruti.
Yeah, thank you, Ram, for a wonderful session. Actually, the question for you, that I created my automation project through the AI, and I used the GitHub Copilot, and it's a very popularly used AI tool. So I just created some automation scripts, and the AI is just written a code, and it is a very complex code. When I try to debug it, it is just get so long time, and it is connected with the other classes, means other files, automation scripts and all, and I'm just stuck in that web. So I could not able to complete it. So I have just wondered about it, am I using the right AI tool, or do you have any suggestion for the same? So it can be pretty similar, because if I am writing a code for a testing, I'll just write it a simple that I have a test cases, and I write it a very simple way, right? So I think, how can we solve this problem?
Good question, Shruti. So, I mean, I've been suffering from the same problems. So I'll tell you, generally we call the computer as a stupidity emanating machine. You sit near it, you will not be able to debug. So go take a walk, think about it, and all of a sudden you're sleeping. Then overnight you have a solution to that bug. Now, see, my biggest grouse with AI is the joy of creation has gone. Right? You keep polishing a piece. Let's say you're writing something. You keep polishing it, you keep refining it, you're building an app. The way you connect with that, the way you build it brick by brick. Oh, I find this architectural challenge. So now I'll go change it. Now, that joy of completing things was, you cannot put a price on it. Today it's all prompt something. Okay, I have the bigger picture, I'm prompting it, this tool, whatever it is, it could be Claude, it could be GitHub Copilot, it's delivering me something. Till it works fine, it's all good. But when something doesn't work, and by the time you're possibly exhausted your tokens, or it keeps changing random stuff, and this is why software developers are going to be indispensable. I strongly believe there is going to be a strong uptick in software engineer hiring 6 months from now. Companies are just in a wait and watch mode. So better AI cannot solve that problem. But a good way to do this is to ask questions on every part of the code base and understand what is doing what. And then see potentially where, I mean, just like the good old days where you go debug a very hard problem, that could be a way out. Because I see, I mean, a lot of engineers in my team. I mean, we have about 200 people sitting in our floor. If I walk into it, everyone is starting with some copilot. No one is just has, I mean, you should do that. You can build it fast, but again, going back to the basics to understand which part of your code is doing what becomes all the more essential.
Awesome. Good. So thanks for just briefing that. Revit, you had online question. Can you just pick this up?
Yeah, Manjula. Hi, Ram. Thanks for the session. Wonderful session.
Sure,
I
Revit.
think a lot of pointers our audience have taken. This question is from Ashwini. She is watching us live on LinkedIn, and she's from a testing background. And I think if I have to put it very generalizedly, like, there was a transition from manual testing. The
Right.
transition was smooth into an automation
Automation.
testing, which was an
Yes.
understandable thing. But now it is all about full stack. It's all about AI. And they are the testing profile people. They are in a quasi state. So that is my baseline of the question. And Ashwini here, she wants to address one of her burning question, which is she is transitioning into AI-driven software testing and actively building her skills with hands-on practice as well, pursuing AI ISTQB certification as well. But she has a break. How does she tackle this?
Okay, so I don't know about the certification. I'm not aware of it.
Yeah.
But I think as more and more software is going to be created, we will need more and more people to test it. Of course, you will use that with AI. You will use AI to do a lot of those heavy lifting. So domain becomes super crucial, right? So what is a bug? I mean, on the one side, you have a functionality bug, right? Which you can all identify. Let's say you're building a CRM for a bank. Without knowing what the bank does, you can still find out functionality bugs where, oh, there is a scope document and then you're deviating from the scope, or there is a, 2 plus 2, this tool is saying it's 5, so maybe this is a bug. And then there is a procedural bug, like there is a process. Now, let's say at the end of your authorization, your process is asking for more documents from the bank. I mean, we see this with the banking customers that we work with. Uh, it has been revolutionized so much that traditional banker who for let's say for getting an appliance loan, you have to fill out like a 5-page form and then wait for 6 days so that the traditional banker can go and give you an approval for buying an AC on installments. Versus, you know how the purchases actually happen? It is you have an IT park and then there is a vendor who has put a stall. The person who goes out on his lunch break sees that, oh, they're selling AC at a price, and then they call their family, and then they immediately decide, okay, I'm going to do this. It's 30,000, 6 months installments. And the traditional bank's infrastructure is not keeping up with that split decision purchase where you have to do 5 days of paperwork to get your appliance loan approved. Now, every company is in this pivot, and which means a lot more software is going to be created, and a QA with the domain knowledge is much more valuable than a purely functionality testing QA, right? I see these two, especially both front end development, your web development, because usually web development is very fragmented. You are an Angular expert, then you are not an Ember expert, and these are two different things. And then there is a React Native, which is a totally different thing. Now they have all evolved into full stack. You are still a front end developer, but you're 80% of the time. 20% of the time, don't tell me I don't know backend, I don't know database, so I will not be able to do this. So get to do that. So again, the domain knowledge is going to be indispensable at this point with AI. Know your domain, know the tools that you are building. Now, let's say you're working on an ERP. You're working with you're aspiring to work with a company that offers ERP. Now find out where their ERP is used, understand their domain. That domain knowledge could be a strong differentiator in your case.
Awesome.
Thank you. Thanks, Ram. So I'm just holding you for more than the time what we have requested. Thanks for your time. But then the last one I would like to understand, would you have any resources for our community or a tips or anything where you can share so that we can take that as our resources to check it out as a takeaway?
I honestly don't know, Manjula, because I mean things are changing. Any resource is a bit stale right now. But I would say in case you have not discovered the study/learn mode in any of the LLM that you're using, that is a big thing. That is definitely a big thing. I generally keep myself up to date with Hacker News. I don't know if you guys know Hacker News, news.ycombinator.com. That curates a lot of technology news, lot of startup news, and especially the discussion over there. That cuts out a lot of the hype. That helps you understand the bigger picture. So maybe I'll type out the domain in the chat window. It's news.ycombinator.com. This is my homepage. Like I keep looking into these discussions. They're very good. Like they are upvoted, so only the same discussions come up. It's not somebody trying to sell you something. See, today that becomes a problem, right? I mean, I remember 2011. I got my internship through Twitter, right? So we were chatting about some Android version. Then there was a manager from Zoho. Then I sneaked into his DMs and said, "Hey, can I come over for an internship? I'm a third-year student from this university." And he said, "Come over." But today's Twitter is not that, right? Today, somebody recommends you a product on Twitter, you brand them as an influencer, and right, you don't want to. But this whole organic content on internet is still only in two places. One is in this news.y Combinator, two is on Reddit, right? But Reddit is, you cannot use Reddit for work, it's for all other things. So this is a good place to start. And your learn mode, study mode in all your LLM. LLMs are really good. Use Claude, use Gemini. ChatGPT in April, they removed that study mode, but there is a prompt that you can use as an alternative to make it mimic that study mode. You can still do that on ChatGPT. Like I said, have long running experiments on these LLMs. Don't ask like random questions once a while and then say you're using an LLM. Use it for something very trivial like a calorie tracking, like a workout tracking, like a health. I mean, all my health reports go into it. My mom, we recently had a heart procedure for her. The cardiologist gave us, the best cardiologist in Chennai, gave us 1 minute, 2 minutes, and my mom had a zillion questions, right? I mean, I'm sure the load on the medical industry is like that. They cannot afford to spend like 5 minutes with you. That is not possible. But these LLMs were very friendly. We were able to ask, hey, what could be this? What could be that? Like, of course, it comes with the conditions apply, but it kind of reduced the mental load on us for the questions that we had. So use LLMs in long running experiments, understand how they behave, use LLMs to create stuff, not just content, but to create a working prototype, to create a dashboard, to create something that you can showcase to your potential recruiter. That I would not say go read this book or go read this blog, because everything else is outdated. What I'm saying today might not be relevant in the next 3 months. So that is the pace in which things are changing. And like I said in the start, don't be intimidated at all. It is designed to intimidate you, and it adds more, right? I mean, we are known to be overthinkers. So we say, oh, one, AI is killing all jobs. No, that's not true. AI is not killing all jobs. Two, okay, I have a career break to it, so will I be? No, that kind of compounds your worries, but it is not true. I am more optimist. I see that this can bring in more opportunities. That this is a great equalizer, right? There is no AI domain expert. Everybody is starting up. Everybody is starting afresh, and especially the older executives are asked to refresh and go back to your go back to your basics and all of that. So this is a great chance if you have a career break. Your career break does not matter. That's what I see as an engineering manager who has been recruiting content. Like I said, I'm not going to ditch your resume just because you had a career gap. That era is gone. That was true maybe 5 years back, 10 years back, but now that era is gone. Whoever is hands-on, whoever is more domain expertise, if you're rejected, it's because possibly somebody else has a better domain knowledge than you. That's going to be the only reason, and not because you had a bigger or a short career break. This comes from my wisdom of working with people who have had career break, seeing as an engineering manager, overseeing recruitment over. So I think I built all my team from scratch. My team is of 100 to 120 people. Now I recruited each one of those. So this comes from that wisdom and not as an AI guy and all of that. So your hands-on skills become more important. Differentiating your resume, how do you make sure your resume is in the top 2% of all the applicants? For any job you put, there are going to be 100 applicants. They are qualified or not, right? And every day I see like applications coming in that is like 6 paragraphs, man. I already have so many things on my plate. I cannot read 6 paragraphs on who you are, right? So AI slop, that is AI slop. Every application is the same. So an URL or a QR code where make me click it. I'm sure if I click it, I will come back and look at what you get to say in your 6 paragraphs of LLM generated description, right? See, everybody is short on time, so be respectful on that. But make sure what you're trying to say, make sure that comes up. Don't worry too much about your career gap. Looking at all the questions that I've seen, I understand that everybody says, oh, your career gap is not your identity. Oh, I have 4 years career gap. I have 6 years career gap. No, your expertise is your identity. Maybe that's a very optimistic way to look at it. I'm sure, like I said, the good thing is that don't be looking at career gap as a thing that you should not have. That era has passed. And thankfully, the technology industry is leading that change. So let's ride that momentum. And I'm happy that there is a community like this. What made me who I am is a community. So we used to have an open source community powered by Sun Microsystems in my college. So I know the power of community than battling it alone. I am what I am because I've lived in so many communities over the years, especially in the early phase of my career when I go network. All of that networking, it may not directly help you. You talk to me, I may not directly give you, hey, here is a job opening, you come and apply, I'll give you a referral. No, it may not be that way. But the wisdom that you take away from these conversations, the success stories, the failure stories of others in your community, that becomes all the more important. I'm really happy Manjula and team is doing an amazing job bringing in experts. And the fact that you're running this community itself is a very big thing. Right? So now we can all be scared together, maybe if that is what it is, or you can all be optimistic together. That is where the power of community comes in. So yeah, stay afresh, don't be worried, don't be scared. There is a lot of put away this AI negativity, but things are changing. You're not going to work the same way like you did in 2019. Things have really changed. And I increasingly see, especially with software development, the whole remote train has sailed. Right? So because software development is a team job where your in-person interaction matters more. You might be individually a Sachin Tendulkar or a Virat Kohli, but then you have to come and contribute to a team. So a lot of increasingly, not just in Zoho, across software development openings, if you're going to, the number of remote openings are going to be keep going to go down. So maybe that's a good filter to see. The chance that you make it to a job that wants you to come to office is higher than a remote opening. I know it could be difficult for a lot of you, but this is what I see in the industry, especially with software development, because it's going to be a team effort. The face-to-face becomes all the more, and it's all going back to 2019 as we speak. That is one trend that I see as well.
Absolutely, I resonate with you now with our client. That is a ask. Is the candidate can come to office in person only, then the remote opportunities are reducing fully, in the sense of the complete work from home. Even if they wanted to work, it's a kind of a hybrid, is a mandatory and must to have. Thanks for just doing, but a lot of information which has really added value. Thank you, Ram. It was wonderful to be with you and learn a lot. Thanks for taking a time, and I know you're just short of time and you're just able to be with us. Appreciate your time. And going with our community, it's brilliantly you said, being together itself is information. As you rightly said, we will not be able to say ABC, but then collective wisdom, what we are holding with each other is pretty brilliant. And thanks for emphasizing once again on what it has been the part of it. And people who are really clueless, this platform gives you the AI projects, AI learnings for you, because especially if you're in a developer IT part of it, all you need to know about it, how you can just work with the LLM, how do you optimize, how do you create your own projects. Join us for a project so that you will do a 2-3 projects which will create a confidence to reapply wherever it is. And currently also we are taking developers into the AI projects, where we are right now a Tamil Nadu government project is also running. In case any of you from Tamil Nadu, you can apply for that as a free program as well. So please pick it up. It is a 3 months program which is just starting to make you, but only commitment is you should be ready to spend a complete day for learning for next 3 to 4 months. And that's the only requisite. It can't be just you are going to say, I will spend 2 hours and learn about it. It's a full-time work, but full-time learning. So that's a kind of a program where we have just pushed it across. So pick it up, and people who are from non-IT part of it, the way we have just picked, make your ChatGPT, Gemini, etc. as your friend, and use your use cases which you were using earlier. How do you create a success story of bringing agents to do about it? And if you are particular about some of the programs, you should be watching our community for the next automation program from UiPath would be coming in a month or so, because one we completed it. You can just join that for free and then just pick it up. How do you just do that? So there are a lot of openings are also is coming, but as you rightly said, openings to apply, you need to have a real-time experience. The real-time, without real-time experience, your certificate and the training alone is not taking us through, just for your information. So the real-time experience, you can get it through the projects. The live projects for startup which you're solving. That way you can just get it here or wherever it is, add that in your profile, and like Ram said, use your QR code or link to talk about those projects what you have just solved. That is going to be the differentiator to make you to the next segment of your career opportunity, wherever we can just bring it. Once again, thank you so much, and looking forward to bring additional expert, being this as a Mother's Day, advanced Mother's Day to all of you. And we do have a different segments for entrepreneurship and the finance as well. Our team have just pushed different speakers to come, be part of it, and then let us know how else we can just do that. And over to you, Revati. Any of the question they have, you can address and close that.
No, Manjula. Thanks, Ram, once again. And thank you, Manjula. Very insightful session. And to everyone who's joined us today, happy Mother's Day this Sunday. Bye-bye.
And at last, I wanted to give a shout out for 3 people. I don't see Pratiksha, Shika, and Rajeshwari. This is the first success. When you come for a session with the industry leaders, keeping your video on and staying with them with your question and other thing is the first success. Thanks for just bringing. Yeah, Pratiksha is also here. So thanks for just doing that. This is the first one. I keep telling every time when the community event happens, just put yourself and be with them. And that shows your professional dedication and your eagerness to learn that. Thank you so much. Thanks, Ruby, just putting it across. That's all.
Yes, thank you, Manjula.
Thank you. This is the first one, which is you have to come and then put your video on, your smile on, and at home, whatever it is, nobody is going to judge or anything, but your commitment, your comfort just gives us a little more insights for us to know one more step to take it forward. Thanks, Ram, and wishing you all the best for your journey. And we will wait for you to come back and then have another session. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thank you all. Appreciate the opportunity. Great chatting with you all. Happy Mother's Day. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Take care.
Thank you, Ram, for